Let's talk about, look, it's been 5 years since you've been on this show, unbelievably, or 4.5 years since you've been on, and you have done so much in that 4.5 years. I've just done this for the 4.5 years. Nothing else has happened. Look, Mitchell and Webb aren't helping, which I really, really enjoyed. I thought that, again, there was some... You've made me cry with laughter in this year more than anyone else, because there were some sketches in that I absolutely just loved. But I thought, how was it to get back and be doing a sketch show again? Because that's... You sort of don't think it's going... You don't sort of assume that would happen, right?
No, I think Rob and I had always wanted to do more. I mean, that sketches is what we most wanted to do on TV as a double act.
Yeah.
You know, we did more than a sitcom. And so when we did that on Radio 4 and then BBC 2, we were delighted and thought, you know, we'll do this for as long as we can. And it turned out after 4 series, that was it. They didn't want any more, and we were very sad.
Yes.
And slightly cheered up, I suppose, by the fact that they then stopped making any sketch shows at all, so it felt less personal. Either that or we finished off the genre. But we would always want to do it, and we'd still hoped and mentioned it in meetings, and and they'd go quiet, and they'd, people afterwards say, "Stop saying you want to do a sketch show. They don't want to hear that. It's not your money. They don't have to." And then just when we'd given up all hope, probably actually back 2 or 3 years after we'd given up all hope, Channel 4 suggested it to us. I mean, we couldn't fucking believe it. It came out of Ian Katz, who runs Channel 4, was having dinner or lunch with Jesse Armstrong, who wrote Succession and co-wrote Peep Show, and they were talking about sketch shows, and we'd always said to Jesse, "Oh, we love sketch shows. Why, why?" Sam and Jesse wrote Peep Show, wrote the odd sketch for us over the, it was really, they knew full well that we liked that, and it came up in conversation, and Jesse was sort of saying, "Oh yeah, because David and Robert always, fancy doing more of that," and Ian Katz said, "But they wouldn't want to do that anymore, would they?" And Jesse said, "I think they might." And that's sort of why it happened. Right. We then had to do a read, jump through a lot of hoops and that kind of thing. But broadly speaking, that was the seed of it. Mm-hmm. And how nice that, that something just happened, and it was, it was good.
Yeah, it was also really nice that there was, you had this cast of younger people.
Yeah.
I think we can say that, who wouldn't necessarily get the chance to do a sketch. It's sort of so weird. It used to be the way people would start, they would do a sketch show, and it might lead to other things. So and you had very Stevie Martin, who I'm a huge fan of on the show, and there was so it's great that you were able to use it as a shop window for those younger performers as well.
Yeah, and they were all terrific. I mean, Kyle Smith-Bino is younger than us, but certainly had totally broken through. Yes. So we were very lucky that he fancied doing it. But the other, Crystal Evans, Lara Ricotte and Stevie Martin were the other cast members. They were all brilliant and fun, and what it reminded me and Rob of how liberating doing sketches is, really, because you only have to worry about the bit you're doing. If that's funny, you've gone in several steps towards a good show.
Yes.
Which is not true in any kind of narrative comedy, because it might be the funny bit might not work, might not be able to be included because you need to keep the boring bits that explain what the fuck's going on. All those problems. The tone might be wrong, but with a sketch, you've got a 2-minute sketch that is funny, then you can just put it there at the beginning of the first programme and try and do another one. And that's actually a very straightforward way of trying to amuse people.
Yes.
And yeah, it was really fun to go back to that. And we've shot a lot of it in this, there's a studio, now that all of the Netflix money came into British television, none of the British broadcasters can afford proper studios anymore. So what they use is the former print works for the Watchtower newspaper, which is out at Mill Hill. And they've made it really nice. There's decent loos. They don't flush that well, and there are very stern signs about what you mustn't put down them. But broadly speaking, it's quite
Copies
nice.
of the Watchtower mainly.
Yes, probably. God knows what there must be. But instead of the print work, I mean, they've obviously printed a lot of the Watchtower at some point. I don't know what happens. They're probably online. I don't know. But they're not soundproofed, sadly. So if one of the gardens nearby has got the streamers in, you do have to stop filming, which can be expensive with a crew of 50. But, there it is. Disney priced us out for all of the soundproofed bits. But they've put carpet on the roof so that you can carry on filming if it's raining. So that's pretty state of the art. But it was really nice. And they built lots of little sets, and like this bit will be one sort of living room, and we got a big screen to be a back, I'm going to say LCD, LED, some huge screen. It cost a lot to hire for the week, but you can we did a sketch which was set in a mainline a railway terminus in London, and we did that entirely by filming a bit in one of those and then projecting it on this big screen and then filming us just standing in front of it.
Right.
And it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, I did not notice.
And you otherwise to film a sketch in a railway station in London, you could forget about it. You can do a scene in a mainline railway station if you're making a Mission Impossible film, but not a television program. That worked really well. It was really fun. Anyway,
do you think they'll bring back other double acts from the 1990s to do sketch? Because I'd really love to see it, because Stu didn't really want to do the one we did in the 1990s. And it would be there'd have to be some kind of hostage situation involved for both of us to do it, which I think might make a really interesting sketch show where neither of us wanted to be in the same room as the other person. One of us was very much against the idea of doing sketches at all.
So was it you fancied sketches?
I love doing sketches.
He wanted to just do stand-up.
Yeah. So I love doing sketches. We did sketches at university, and then it was all. I think it was like it was at that time, and it's sort of you came along a little later. And I think sketches again had come a bit back into fashion again, but that's what happens with sketches, right? They come in and out. People go, the sketch show is dead, I think that would be. I think Channel 4, if you're listening.
Yeah.
If you can kidnap just someone that Stuart Lee cares about. I don't want to do it either, so you're gonna have to kidnap someone that we both care about. And I think it might just be the most amazing television show you've ever seen as a result.
It could be, actually, instead, because we're doing another series. Instead of having a cast of younger comedians, it could be you and Stu, and are either or both of Hale and Pace still alive? And then it's like going in different directions, and very, very. Television's only watched by old people now, so it's very.
That could be good. I think that could work.
Yeah,
good. We'll see if we can make that happen.